So join us. See what shenanigans we get into next. Who knows, maybe somewhere along the way, you'll find your favorite winemaker. Today we're off to stomp through history. If today's vineyard had been planted 25 years earlier, it would have been planted in Spain rather than California. Yeah, I think that qualifies for being older than Google. We're on our way to meet up with Chris and Morgan from Bedrock. We just passed Sonoma's Best and found the plaza looking extra shiny this morning. This plaza is one of the few places in California where you can have an open container of alcohol, which makes it the perfect wine country picnic spot. Just a few miles north of Juanita, it's time to stomp around the historic Bedrock Heritage Vineyard. Chris said there's so much history out there that, well, we might as well be driving a DeLorean.
According to our investigators.
So this is Bedrock. I feel like I'm absolutely walking in history.
You are walking in history here. Yeah, this is one of the oldest vineyards in California. It was originally planted in 1854 by General Joseph Hooker and General William Tecumseh Sherman, so future Civil War generals. Sonoma Valley was really the basis of the Northern California wine industry in the 1870s and 1880s. We had more vines planted in Sonoma Valley than the rest of Sonoma County writ large, or in Napa in the 1870s.
Wow.
But what happened is when phylloxera hit in the late 1870s, because there's so many grapes, it spread really, really quickly. What that means is we have some of the oldest vines that were planted on resistant rootstock in California. So the oldest vines date here to 1888.
The guy who planted the vineyard or had it replanted in 1888 was a guy named Senator George Hearst, who's William Randolph Hearst's father. Kind of a legend of the West in California.
Just before you were born.
You look good.
Yeah. Feelings. I do have feelings. This looks like a very, very happy place for vines, even though that they're so old. It doesn't look like anybody's dying here.
Yeah.
So how does it look so happy when it's so old?
Yeah, so it's a really heterogeneous vineyard. There's over 29 different interplanted varieties, which is really traditional for old vineyards all over the world, not just in California. But then also, we are really kind of, I think, helping lead the way in terms of modern, more holistic, regenerative farming, which is something you don't typically see in old vineyards out here.
How do you know what's there? What's here? How do you know? This place is huge.
The man has mapped all 16,273 vines?
Stop it. You just dropped the
now, so, yeah. Wild is we've actually found varieties out here that have no matching genetic fingerprint, which means they're extinct where they originally came from in the old world, but they exist here in our oldest vineyards in California.
That's wild.
That's straight wild. Yeah. Everything is so green and beautiful.
Yeah, we've been blessed with some really good early rains, which have gotten the cover crops established really nicely.
I just caught a lizard
going
in the trunk. That was really cute. Yeah. So what is this regen farming? Because I don't know a lot about it and I would love to understand it better.
The way we think about it, I think the best way to define it is that we are trying to grow grapes, grow beautiful wine grapes, while also actually improving soil at the same time. So that's different from organics, where we're just not using the bad stuff. We're creating soil that catches water, that cycles nutrients, that has life in it. And in fact, we've gotten to a point where we can grow vines with much less water and basically no added fertilizers, not even added compost.
How do you know? Do you just are you doing better? Is there data, a way to test, collect?
The best way to evaluate soil is to just look at it. So truly what we do all day.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
The tools of the trade.
Look at that.
Look, an earthworm right on there.
Whoa!
Showing up for the camera.
So when we look at
you guys
soil,
planted that on purpose, didn't you?
planted about 10 million per acre earthworms. It smells good, it's crumbly, it has earthworms in it, and ours goes all the way down to 18 plus inches like this. When we took over this vineyard, the soil was dead. When it rains, and in California, in our climate, we don't get consistent little bits of rain all throughout the winter. We get 4 inches at once. We get atmospheric rivers where we're just getting hammered. So this soil can accept all that rain.
How do you make that soil look so that you just popped a worm out?
Right. What we're doing is we're turning sunlight and carbon dioxide into healthy soil.
We've covered our vineyard with solar panels.
Yep.
They're capturing sunlight and they're driving sugar into the soil, which is feeding the microbiology of the soil, enlivening the soil, and then that soil is doing a better job nutrient cycling, which then allows the vines to participate in that process. But a lot of the way we thought about ag traditionally is like, we want to get rid of all the competition, but that's not actually really how nature works. You know, when you take a vineyard like this that had been tilled intensively, had herbicide use, all this stuff for like 100 years, we're basically just having to almost rebuild a soil from scratch. For every 1% increase in soil organic matter or carbon, you increase your water holding capacity by over 20,000 gallons per acre. The carbon sequestration is important, building soil is really important, but also the wine quality is, you know, also paramount. And what happens with these systems, because you have all these plants growing on the floor, is our vineyards are cooler. So when we have these big heat events in August or early September around Labor Day, our neighbors where they may till, the reflected heat off those soils is 150, 160 degrees. In our soils will be like 90 degrees.
That's a big difference.
So it's like a 50-degree difference. So like we're trying to create systems that basically give the vines the best chance. And there's this sort of overstated thing that a stressed vine makes the best wine, which is just not true. It's like a happy vine that is naturally balanced and working in tandem with its soil makes the best wine.
So Jake said something that really stuck. He said organics means the focus is not on adding the bad stuff. Well, hey, that's a noble sentiment indeed, but they didn't stop there. See, regenerative farming is all about making the vineyard and the world a better place, while also making dope wine. That is truly a revolutionary idea. And I think Morgan even said that the process isn't more expensive than conventional farming. I wish you could feel how this place feels underfoot. The ground is soft, but not muddy, and it feels alive. Man, this place is truly special.
Dude, look at these dinosaurs.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first vineyard I ever walked when I was 19 years old, because Morgan and I were friends back then already. And, you know, you look at this vine and it's planted in 1888. So just for context, 2% of the country had electricity when this vine was planted.
Holy shit.
Like I said, we have a bunch of different varieties out here. I mean, literally 29, all interplanted together, which what makes this vineyard so unique is that this composition of varieties exists nowhere else in the world. So really, if you think about it, these old vine mixed field blends are the only unique wines, truly, that nowhere else in the world makes, where we get to be our own reference point.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
So what varietal is this?
So this is a great example, just standing right here, of like how a field blend works. Like right here, we have a Carignan vine, and then right here, this is a Cabernet Sauvignon vine.
What?
Among, if not maybe, the oldest Cabernet Sauvignon vines in the world, planted in 1888, tied with Penfolds in Australia. But like, you know, they're all interplanted together. But, you know, I come out here and Morgan shows me this vine, and, you know, this vine has been producing grapes for wine for literally 130 plus years. And you can actually see 7 generations of people pruning and taking care of the vine when you look at it. So you can literally follow people's pruning decisions up the vine.
The generations as they move up.
Literally, you can see, you know, 130 years of people's work in this vine. So if we farm better and give the vines more access to healthy soil, I mean, there's a really good chance that this vine right here will outlive me and Morgan.
You don't find this in Brooklyn, right?
No, there's not. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's a living piece of history. We call them like the redwoods of vines.
Yeah. There's tons of old vine material here, but then I also see some young pups.
Yeah.
What would you say is the average age if you took the whole field blend together? What's our age we're working with on a yearly basis?
100, 80 to 100?
That's crazy, because
Yeah.
nobody's making wine with 100-year-old average age in the United States.
Yeah, and
That's wild.
The crazier thing is when we go out to Evangelo,
Yeah.
you know, out there,
I can't wait to see that.
90+% of the vines are the original 1890s vines.
Bro, this thing is 137 years old. It's like just older than you. Just older than you.
You look great.
My 140th is going to be in Atlantis. Y'all can join me there.
Do you want to go pop some bubbles from vines planted in 1888 in the actual vineyard among the vines?
Arm twisted. Arm
Just
twisted.
my arm, bro. Let's go.
Popping bottles in the vineyard, especially a vineyard as historic as this one, is definitely an e-ticket ride. But the reality is, that's all for the consumer. Winemakers aren't normally out here popping bottles in the vineyard. and that vibe is put on for the consumer. Don't get me wrong, most winemakers love to host and offer that experience to you. But if you want to clink glass with a winemaker, and at their speed, meet them at the Dope Taco Spot and grab a Modelo and lime.
Chris has set up some yum yum for us.
Did you bring your saber?
No. This wine is too important to savor.
Oh.
Only 900 bottles.
900?
Can't waste a drop. Now, this is our organized little side project called Under the Wire that we started in 2011. And it's all method champenois, single vineyard, vintage dated, sparkling wine. So, 3 to 7 years on tirage. Mostly Chardonnay and Pinot, but we make this, which is Zinfandel from the 1888 vines.
Oh.
So there's actually a history of Zinfandel being made.
So you don't want to make money then, right?
It's in the black now, but it took 15 years. But so this vintage is a little, there's a little tincture to it. We do a little soak on it.
This is 2021?
Yeah, 2021. So stomped on the grapes, let it soak for a little bit, but pretty gentle extraction. Low dosage, I think there's 1 or 2 grams. And we'll go taste, obviously the red from here is what we're most known for.
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you, sir. The red is known, Bedrock Heritage wine is what's known most, but this is kind of a good way to wake up the morning.
Thank you for hosting us out here and showing us this magical place.
So let me get this straight. We just walked through a vineyard that was planted before folks had electricity, and regenerative farming techniques got it looking brand new? Yeah, I'm sold. That place was so healthy, I think I got taller before I got back to my car. Oh, did you catch that their Under the Wire sparkling is predominantly Zinfandel? And from vines almost 150 years old? What the heck? Talk about rare. I think we can chalk that up to a good day. Tomorrow, Chris and Morgan are taking us to a vineyard outside Sonoma that has even more old vines in the ground than Bedrock. This story keeps diving farther into the history books, and I am here for all of it. Before we hit the road, let's check in with Tom Darling. He's invited us to the Darling tasting room down on the plaza. Sounds like sommelier Todd Jolly and a few other winemakers might come through to taste some wine with us. Yeah, that's gonna be a good time.
Arm twisted!
Twist my arm, bro. Let's go.
Why are you always begging for wine, dude?
Because that's the show.